As the world's second largest economy and the major trading nation, China is actively participating in the reform of the international monetary system and steadily promoting the internationalization of the RMB. The use of the RMB in cross-border trade settlement, reserve currency functions, and investment tools is steadily expanding. Its role is increasingly prominent, especially in the fields such as energy, finance, and infrastructure. Today, as we discuss the internationalization of the RMB, our hope is to provide a pragmatic supplement and a refinement solution within the existing framework of the international monetary system. We aim to offer market participants more currency choices, increase resilience to the global financial safety net, and to broaden the institutional space for shared development. This reflects both the spirit of multilateralism and openness to cooperation, and responds to the tendency of the diversification in the international monetary system, in particular for the developing countries like Sri Lanka. This process is of significant and practical importance. Broaden use of the RMB helps diversify the structure of foreign exchange reserves, reduce exchange rate risk, and provide more stable and low-cost settlement channels in bilateral trade, investment, and financing, thereby strengthening the local currency stability and macroeconomic resilience at a critical period for Sri Lankan economic recovery and structural adjustment. Expanding cooperation with the RMB will undoubtedly inject fresh momentum into the trade facilitation, investment attraction, and financial system modernization.
The RMB Internationalization Forum 2025, organized by the Sri Lanka China Business Council in collaboration with the Bank of China Colombo branch, was held in Colombo yesterday, highlighting growing financial cooperation between Sri Lanka and China. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe and Deputy Minister of Finance Anil Jayantha were among the key speakers at the event.
Currently, import settlements often involve converting Sri Lanka rupees into US dollars and then into RMB, which increases transaction costs and exposes traders to risk of multiple exchange rate fluctuations. Establishing a direct RMB payment mechanism would eliminate the need for intermediary conversions, reducing transaction costs, enhancing efficiency, and minimizing exposure to USD RMB exchange rate volatility. This should in turn provide greater pricing stability and predictability in trade contracts between China and its trading partners. Sri Lanka is also exploring the possibility of establishing a facility to conduct payments in RMB with China in order to facilitate smoother trade and financial transaction between the two countries. That's where the bankers here can play a facilitation role, especially we hope that Bank of China can play a greater role in this regard. Currently, any domestic interbank RMB transfer needs to be conducted via a Nostro account with corresponding banks in China. With such RMB payment facility, domestic RMB payments could be processed locally, which will lead to a considerable reduction in transaction processing time and fees. This is where the attraction for local importers and exporters is, as long as you can bring down this transaction cost, there will be attraction. That's what we didn't have in the past. I hope that incentives, efficient intermediation can happen through these new arrangements. This facility would offer a much faster and more convenient option for conducting RMB payments, providing same-day fund transfers to customers. That is another advantage, because converting US dollar and other currencies and the counterpart, this corresponding banking, take longer time and also costly. To implement the RMB payment facility, it is necessary to have a RMB clearing bank. RMB clearing bank is an offshore financial institution authorized by the PBOC, People's Bank of China, our counterpart central bank, to provide clearing services for RMB transactions that take place outside of mainland China. Since 2022, the PBOC has continued to strengthen the RMB overseas clearing network, designating RMB clearing banks in many markets in more than 30 countries and the regions. We hope that we will also have the same facility here. RMB clearing bank is able to manage accounts in RMB for local banks and enterprises. These accounts will be used to settle cross-border RMB payments with China, as well as RMB payments amongst RMB account holders at the clearing bank locally. That's the efficiency that we would like to gain. Apart from linking payments and settlement systems, having RMB clearing bank would also make conducting economic activities between the two countries easy, as it removes the need for middlemen and lowers the cost of cross-border transactions, making it easy for Sri Lankan institutions and individuals to access RMB financing options. The linkage between domestic and overseas markets via interlinking of payment systems also allows Sri Lanka to access Chinese domestic financial infrastructure and utilize RMB products and services. It definitely would improve the financial activities and trade between two countries. Adopting the RMB for trade settlements would demonstrate stronger financial cooperation between Sri Lanka and China, thereby enhancing investor and trader confidence. It could encourage greater participation by Chinese businesses in Sri Lanka's trade and investment activities, as transactions can be conducted in their own currency.
Deputy Minister of Finance Anil Jayanta emphasized the importance of accelerating settlement mechanisms between Sri Lanka and China to address the trade imbalance and attract long-term foreign direct investment.
When we take the transactions and investment between two countries, China and Sri Lanka, of course, we have net deficit position in terms of exports. That means we import a lot from China and export less. The quick facilitation of settlements would help, on the one hand, for China to look for more investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. We prefer to have long-term investment FDIs in that regard. At the same time, we also would create our own opportunities of finding or exploration for more exportation, thus broadening the trade and investment between two countries. As of now, though there is a significant or the big gap of trade between China and Sri Lanka exists, in the future, with this facilitation, we strongly believe that it could be characterized by new investments and opportunities for more exports in the future. And as far as the government policies are concerned, so it is a new government, of course, with a new mandate to transform the entire society with noble objectives. As we stated in our manifestos, we have to do lots of things. Among them, I would like to highlight key two areas. One is the trade and investment, the promotion of trade and investment. Then our responsibility is to facilitate by bringing the policy consistencies and bringing required infrastructure and creating a level playing field where everyone will have a democratic opportunity in the economic engagement. We strongly believe that based on the stabilization that we have achieved so far, we have been able to gradually build on that, and that democratic economic environment is being built and stabilization is seen, so that investors could build their own confidence of bringing their investments. Though they had certain doubts or suspicions about bringing investments in terms of investor protections or any other things, now we are really the clearing of the paths. Hope that by the end of this year, we would be able to bring, submit another draft to the Parliament, that is Investor Protection Act as well, by demonstrating and showing that we do not discriminate any investor, rather we create a level playing field for everyone. So that is a key, because we know very well that no matter how stabilized the country is, whether the governance structure is very good, of course now at least in the political sphere there is no corruption. No matter how all these things and how beauty that we have achieved, without investments, without more vibrant trades, it is impossible for us to gauge the required growth. We need an exponential growth during an explicit time period in the near future. We are facilitating this thing, and within the conducive environment, we look for to establish this single window opportunity and to reduce the operating cycle to a minimum level.
The forum concluded with a shared vision of deepening Sri Lanka-China economic cooperation and integrating RMB-based settlement systems to support long-term trade, investment and financial stability.